Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we're playing some more Mono Blue Terror. This is a deck that I really enjoy. Obviously, it's very powerful in the format, although it has dropped off a little bit in the last month or so since Pauper Grixis Affinity has been on the rise again, Elves, Mono Red Madness, and Blue Terror has actually taken a bit of a backseat. Still probably in the top 5 decks in the format, but just a little bit lower. We're trying to fill our graveyard really quickly with spells, with Mental Notes and Thought Scours. We're using Brainstorm as well as Ponder to set up our draws and also set up the things we want to mill with the Mental Notes and Thought Scours. And last time I played this deck, I tried out Deprive as additional copies of Counterspell, and I really enjoyed it. So we're going to do that again. This is something that I've continued testing. So we're playing 4 Counterspell, 2 Deprive, which is basically Counterspell, but you have to return a land to your hand. In the late game, that's almost irrelevant. If anything, it can be a benefit because you can then Brainstorm that island away. And in the early game, you definitely want to be careful about bouncing your land on turn 2, so you might not want to counterspell something with this super early, but that's okay. We're also playing 2 Spell Pierce. I figure with the Deprives, we have plenty of ways to counter things in the late game that I didn't necessarily care for, like Dispels or anything, but we wanted some really early turn 1 counter spells. So Spell Pierce is what I'm going with as opposed to Force Spike or anything like that. We're playing 2 Sleep of the Dead and 1 of Deep Analysis as nice cards to mill. Deep Analysis is more card advantage. Sleep of the Dead is obviously just really good interaction. We're also playing 2 Vapor Snag. I've tried it so many times, I cannot get behind Deem Inferior. It just seems really bad to me. So we're playing Vapor Snag instead. You could play Boomerang in this slot. That's what a lot of people did for a while. But I've actually been enjoying the Vapor Snag quite a bit. We're playing 4 Tolarian Terrors, 4 Cryptic Serpents, and I'm on Delvers right now. I was playing the Murmuring Mystic version, which I do like a lot, because Delver is not always the most effective in certain matchups. But with the Deprives, it's actually a little harder to get to that 4 mana for Murmuring Mystic, so I thought that the Delver was probably better with this version. 16 islands, and of course 4 Lorien Revealeds to also find lands. Then on our sideboard, 4 Annul, or actually Steel Sabotage. I was wanting to change these two because Affinity's been on the rise, so the extra utility against Affinity can be really good. So 4 Steel Sabotage, 2 Blue Blast, 3 Hydroblast, 2 Envelops, and 4 Gutshot. So let's just take this for a league and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. I've written a comprehensive guide on how to play White Weenie in Pauper, including my ideal stock list, over 30 sideboard matchups, and a sideboard cheat sheet, which gives you a very easy snapshot view and what to sideboard for every single matchup. I also have guides for Black Sack and Esper Affinity. Each guide is only $15, and if you buy one, you will get all future updates that I ever make to that guide for free. I also offer coaching, so if you're interested in upping your Pauper game for any of the decks that I'm very proficient in, or if you're interested in having me play your deck in a future video, you can do a deck donation, which is the only way you'll ever see me playing Cycle Storm or Flickertron. Alright, we're on the play here, and the hand looks okay. We're missing a Brainstorm or Ponder to set up our draws a little bit better, also a Brainstorm to get the Sleep of the Dead milled into our graveyard, but we have Counterspell. Sleep can be useful early depending on the right matchup, and yeah. I don't think I'm going to send Mental Note off just quite yet, because if I get a Brainstorm, I'm going to want to use it later. We're against Coggates. Mnaga plays quite a bit of Coggates. They're just going to play a land and pass. You got a Thought Scour as well. We're going to pass to them, leaving up Counterspell, of course. But now I'm going to go for a Mental Note since I have the Thought Scour. Hits Delver, Counterspell. Vapor Snag can be okay in this match. Some tokens, and just if they pump something. Cycle a Lorien. I think we'll Thought Scour in the end step, because we would like to get this Terror down if possible. We're at 4 spells in grave, but it looks like they're going to try to exile our graveyard. I could Counterspell, and then I can play 1 Terror, although if they have a Dispel, obviously that doesn't work. If they then cast like a Guardian, it could be kind of bad, but otherwise I think it's fine. Yeah, I think we should. We don't really have a great way to refill our graveyard. Mental Note is nice, because this should let us get 2 Terrors down, and then if they want to spend their whole turn doing like a Journey to Nowhere or something, that'll be fine. So that didn't work out poorly for us, but it really depends on what they play here, seeing as we're tapped out. It is a Journey to Nowhere, so we're going to lose 1 Terror. If we had an island up for Vapor Snag, I absolutely would Vapor Snag our own Terror to save it there. Probably a reason to leave that up this turn. Deep Analysis. I could Brainstorm, but it feels like I might as well just tap 4 for a Deep Analysis here. No land, so I don't really want to play. Like, I could Brainstorm, but if I don't hit a land and then they do try to Journey this, it's pretty bad. I got a Cryptic Serpent, so maybe it's not the end of the world, but that's okay. Outlaw Medic and a Squadron Hawk. We're going to go for a Brainstorm Delver. Makes me not necessarily want to mill everything here. So I could put back... Part of me wants to mill the Sleep, of course, but also I kind of want to tap this Medic, and I want to have... I want to tap Medic, play Serpent, play Delver and hold up Vapor Snag. So actually let's put back Thought Scour, Mental Note, and I'll just draw. We'll swing for 5. They might take it, they might jump with the Hawk, but no, they just take it. I'll tap the Medic. If I don't tap the Medic and I try to just Vapor Snag it when they like pump it and then they have a counter spell, they could gain a lot of life and it's kind of bad. I don't see a reason to do that when we can just tap it down like this. And now between Vapor Snag and double tap from Sleep of the Dead, we might be able to just bypass their creatures unless they play, you know, 2 Hawks and a Cat here, or Medic. Although if they leave up 3 mana, then I'm going to assume there's a Prismatic Strands, so that's not quite as good. We'll hold the Vapor Snag then. Yeah, we'll reveal a Thought Scour. They have so many Lifelinkers. I could sleep 2 of them, but then they can still pump 1 because I don't have a Vapor Snag. I think we're casting Deep Analysis, trying to find something. Counterspell's good, but that doesn't stop Prismatic Strands this turn because they can just flash it back. Not really confident I'm going to have time to cast this Lorien, especially with the Sleep of the Dead in the grave, so I think we're just going to cycle it. If I attack with everything, they pump 2 different guys maybe. It's only for 5 though. I get to Vapor Snag 1 of them. I think we're just attacking with everything. If I don't attack with everything, they don't have to Prismatic Strands, so yeah. And I guess I could actually, I should Mental Note here, because if I find a Spell Pierce, then I can Spell Pierce this and then Counterspell, and then they have to chump. Although then I don't have Vapor Snag up, so it's maybe not as good, but alright, whatever. They get to gain a couple life from their Lifelinkers, which is definitely annoying. Pass the turn. Brainstorm. They're going to pump Sacred Cat, and I think we're going to Vapor Snag it. Then if they want to Squadron Hawk this turn, they don't have a cat. We have Counterspell for Prismatic. We don't have Sleep of the Dead for enough creatures to like kill them, but still I think we're like in an okay spot. Replay the cat. We're going to Thought Scour, get a Mental Note. Yeah, I'm just going to keep casting these, I think. If we're able to find anything, it could be relevant. Sleep of the Dead could be fine. So we get a cheaper activation here. So we have 8 mana, Counterspell the Strands, then they have to chump. Then I Serpent, sleep, but I have nothing for this. They could pump it and gain 11. Can't do much about that though. Sleep on the cat because it comes back. I mean, these draw cards, but ideally they'll be not very useful ones. Strands in response here. That makes sense. I think I have to counter that. And then I guess I just attack, because if they chump with an Outlaw Medic, then I get to sleep the other one. Whereas if I sleep one now, they'll probably save the other. Really would like to tap down a Lifelinker. So yeah, they might just block with the Hawk for this reason. Take 8 down to 3. Serpent. If I keep the sleep in hand, it's a surprise extra sleep next turn unless I draw a land, in which case I could already do 3. It doesn't really matter if they have an extra one here, but it's also another one that won't tap next turn, although they get to have a million Hawks. They can have all the blockers they want anyway. I guess we just tap it now. They double gate, they won't have a Prismatic Strands, which is good. Probably only be a single gate though, for that reason. Squadron Hawk gets back 1 because they'd brainstormed 1 to the top already. Pump the Medic. I mean, they don't double pump, so if they just attack for 6, they're at 9, but I can tap the Hawk. They only have 2 mana, unless they didn't play a land, which they haven't. So if they have an untapped land, they could have a Prismatic Strands. But otherwise, I mean, they could have 3 Charm for our grave, but then we just have enough creatures to get them. Alright, we got there. Looked like it was getting pretty close at the end. We have Gut Shots, maybe. That's about it. Vapor Snag already, I think I like a little better, because it can hit the medics and stuff. I think everything else in our deck is good. I don't really know if this is a favored or unfavored matchup, but I don't really see anything to change. Like Envelop hits Lorien Revealed. That's about it. Maybe if we had a null, I could bring those in for Journeys and Modern Age. I'm not sure that's amazing either, but we don't need to think about that. Alright, hand looks decent with Brainstorm and Thought Scour. We'll pass here. They do put this on red, so chances are they probably have Pyroblasts. They cycle this for a land. I'm just going to Brainstorm now on the off chance they have like a Spell Pierce they're going to want to use. Now that I know they're not playing a 2-drop, I'm like, no longer need to bluff a Spell Pierce. Back Deep Analysis and Thought Scour. Beachfront. We'll Mental Note those away. You do get a Spell Pierce for real this time. 4 spells. Ooh, but we also get a Delver. Spell Pierce is going to have enough value later, I think, with their tap lands and just Prismatic Strands and a lot of things they're going to want to cast that I think I'd rather just get out Delver. Otherwise, I'm holding Spell Pierce up for like maybe a Modern Age here, but like not that much else. If they want to Pyro or Journey this or whatever, it's fine because we have a bunch of other creatures that those won't be going for later. We are currently flipping in the blind, so I might Brainstorm to set up Delver, depending on what they do here. They just play a Hawk, finding 2 more. I think we do want to. Let's go for the Brainstorm. They do have a Blast available. We have a Spell Pierce though. Okay. Probably put back Island Lorien, then reveal Lorien, swing here. Since we got another Delver, I'd probably just play that, hold up Spell Pierce. They're going to try to Red Blast the Aberration. I think that's probably fine to Spell Pierce, so we will. We have a Gate and another Red Blast. Okay, Delver down. This Delver is flipping in the blind, but if I don't like what I'm drawing, yeah, I don't. I think we'll cycle Lorien to try to draw something else. Pick up an island, draw a Serpent. I guess I don't want to attack Delver into a Hawk. So I could Deep Analysis here, or I could just play like Terror Serpent. They left up 2 mana. That could be for a... It could be for a Thraben Charm, which could exile a graveyard, meaning I kind of want to use Deep Analysis, but also if they exile our graveyard, our hand is so bad. So I think we have to play creatures. So I should start with Terror in case they do it in response, just because it's harder to kill. Glorious Gale. Okay, well, I forgot that these decks often will play a couple creature counterspells in the sideboard, but that's fine. I mean, for that reason, maybe I should have done Serpent first rather than Terror, but that's okay. They played a Hawk, and they didn't search up, even though they have 1 left in the deck. That's kind of weird. We get a counterspell. We'll reveal that and draw it for turn. Now we get to swing for 9. If they want to trade both Hawks for the Aberration, that's fine by me. Looks like they do, but I think we just keep playing Serpents with counterspell backup now. They have a counterspell. So I could counterspell, or I could just play another Serpent. I kind of just want to play another Serpent. They have 1 Hawk in hand, 2 other cards. I mean, if they have like double Journey, it's not amazing, but that seems unlikely. I think we'll let it go. Play this guy out. If we get past this turn without losing both our Serpents, then I think it's better to have the counterspell in hand. If we don't, then obviously maybe we'll regret it. There's a Hawk. Still not searching. Okay, so it was not a mistake. They just had naturally drawn another Hawk, which seems pretty rough for them. They have Prismatic Strands. We have 1 counterspell, but they can flash it back, so we should Deep Analysis. If I get another counterspell, we don't necessarily win, because if they block first, they'll be doing that right, but still. They are very low on cards, so we're in a pretty good spot. They've had to just use Hawks for like jump blockers and stuff, as opposed to anything else. Oh, and they don't even go for the Strands. We'll just pass. All right, and we get the game and the match. They had a lot of like 1-for-1s and then drew the 2 of the Hawks, so they weren't able to keep up, unfortunately. All right, we're on the draw. This one looks good, though. We have 2 lands, some interaction, some cantrips. We're against something else blue. We'll pass the turn. They're going to cycle a Lorien for just an island. And I'm just going to cycle my Lorien as well. Play an island and pass. They play an Aquifer, so it looks like we're against Dimir Terror. Play a Brainstorm, put back Sleep, and a Ponder, because we probably don't need all of these. Go for a Mental Note. Get another Vapor Snag. Draw the Terror. I'll Ponder. This puts us at 6 spells, although I'm not going to cast the Terror this turn. We'll keep another Terror, although I might want to shuffle with Lorien so that we can get rid of those islands on top. The next turn I can play 2 Terrors and hold up Deprive. Seems good. We're going to cycle a Suffocating Fumes. Not bad for us. We have a Seething Landscape. An Augur of Bolas. Okay, it actually could be Dimir Fairies here. Landscape and Augur makes me think that. In which case, do I want to deprive this? It's a little early to bounce my lands. I don't love that. I think it's probably fine. It does get a counterspell. I could just Thought Scour to mill those 2 islands. Although I do want to draw an island, so the Lorien is going to do that. I guess if I just draw the island, I can maybe keep the Lorien around for use later. Yeah, I guess there's no reason to mill here. Let's play a Terror. They're going to counterspell. We will deprive and play another Terror. If they have double Snuff out, they can spend their whole turn to kill both of these. It's not great for us, but hopefully they don't have that. If they don't, then we're also preventing the Augur from being ninja'd this turn, which is pretty good. They have a Cast Down. Okay. That'll use their whole turn, though. And I can now keep my Terror around with Vapor Snag. I don't think I want to draw another island, though, since I had to bounce one, so I have to replay it. Yeah, let's just Thought Scour here. Another Lorien. We also milled a Cryptic Serpent. We'll swing for 5. Mental note in case they get like another terror, which we didn't, so we'll pass now. Sack their landscape. If they have a ninja for the augur, then I can vapor snag the ninja. At least they'll waste mana doing that. Sack the landscape, then Fairy Seer. See what they're drawing. One on top, no attacks. We will cycle a Lorien here. Play an island, swing for 5. No attacks, no chump block is interesting. I could mental note to try to hit something to play, or I could just sleep the dead to tap one of these. I think we'll sleep the augur. So if they do find a ninja, they won't be able to get back the guy that's giving them more advantage. They could spell stutter this, which would be fine. Not a use I'm really worried about in the spell stutter. Full counterspell is aggressive, but that's fine. Maybe they got a ninja off the Fairy Seer, so they know it's coming and they want to keep the augur available to attack. Or they just wanted to use their mana. Thorn of the Black Rose, so they want the chump blockers. Okay, sure. I think with double Vapor Snag and Sleep of the Dead in our grave, we're going to be able to take this Monarch. No problem. Ooh, never mind. That deals with the Sleep of the Dead very nicely. Alright, so let's Mental Note and I guess Mental Note. Refill our grave, although with mostly lands and a creature. Well, I'm definitely Vapor Snagging the Thorn so that I can attack with the Terror, force a chump block. I want to play the Delver to be aggressive, although it's a lot more mana efficient to play a Lorien Revealed. Although if they have a Spell Pierce, it's pretty bad. I think we got to play the Delver. Replay Delver. Or Thorn, rather. Don't know why I said that. Yeah, making them spend 4 mana to recast the Thorn is decent. Scry 2, 1 to the top. I'm going to Vapor Snag the Thorn here. They might have a Spell Stutter or something. Then they're fully tapped out, which might not matter if I don't draw anything good off the Lorien, but that would probably resolve then. Just another counterspell, okay. Well, here's hoping Delver flips. Does, off a Thought Scour. We're going to Lorien Revealed. Counterspells are good. We have 1 Sleep of the Dead left in the deck. By attacking here, I'd probably trade this for 2 Fairy Seers, but what are you going to do? We have 4 Snakes, 2 Delvers left in our deck. 1 Sleep of the Dead. So we definitely haven't lost yet. They go for a Brainstorm. Extract a Confession. Well, we'll counter. See if they have the counter back. Although they've used, 3 actual counter spells, so they don't. They have the Snuff Out, though. Go to 5. Fairy Seer down to no cards in hand. So we just need this Ponder to find us, 2 snakes, and then I can draw into them both with, the Thought Scour and then protect with the counterspell. That's the goal. Here's a Ponder. Snake, Delver, and a Deprive. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep those. Delver definitely flips. We get a Serpent. So I'm going to Thought Scour them. Although they scried 1 to the top, but they drew it immediately with the Monarch. I don't love milling them, although it's not super relevant. Brainstorm, Snuff Out. But I don't want to mill the cards that we just saw, obviously, since they were good. Alright, they're going to have 2 cards. We have a Counterspell and another Counterspell on top. We do have a Death Toucher against our Serpent. Definitely just going to have to counter a Lorien Revealed. Their other card could be a Cast Down or something, which is pretty good, but I don't think I can let them draw 3 cards. The Monarch, go hard for turn. Nothing relevant, though. Yet. We will reveal Deprive. Draw that for turn. Attack with the Aberration. There's no reason to throw the Serpent away here when we know we have a Sleep of the Dead still in the deck that we can tap the Thorn with. Make him chump with the Fairy Seer. Play an island. They just cast an Ambusher. Don't think I care about that because I can take the Monarch with the Aberration. So I don't want to counter that and then them have a kill spell or a spell stutter or something that blocks. Another counter spell is fantastic. This is why I like Deprive. We just have so many counter spells in the deck, which is fantastic. They cast a spell stutter. I'm actually going to Deprive first here because I haven't played a land, so I don't mind bouncing one. Obviously, I want to get the Monarch. Also, they're just at 5, so hitting them once and then the next turn would be lethal. Although they have an Ambusher, which can gain lifelink, so that throws that off a little bit. Counting my Brainstorms real quick. I only see 1 that I've used, so I'm going to keep the island in hand because if I get a Brainstorm, I might want to swap this with something else. And there's the Brainstorm, so we're in our end step, so I don't think there's a reason to cast it because I can't deploy Serpents or anything, but I certainly might in response to them having a kill spell or something. We've already used both Vapor Snags, so there's not really a reason for me to do anything here. They'll get the Monarch back, but I get to eat their guy. They have to use their blockers, and then if I can counter all their blockers or kill spells, we might just win. Play an Aquifer, draw from Monarch. We win the match. Or the game, not the match. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. Alright, Dimir Fairies. I think the only thing that's a possibility is the Gut Shots. Is there anything bad? Sleep seems good. Spell Pierce good. Vapor Snag good. I don't think there's anything I really want to change. As long as I play around Spell Stutter enough, I probably won't need to worry about Gut Shots. So let's just resubmit. Alright, we have Brainstorm Thought Scour. No interaction. but ideally we can find something with the Brainstorm. They do mulligan to 5. We're on the draw in a kind of control versus control matchup. Obviously we're much more aggressive, but all those extra cards is really gonna push things in our favor. Spell Pierce. We'll pass. They Brainstorm. I think we're just going to Spell Pierce this. Get some value, and with their rough mulligan, if they don't have another land, like, it's just very good for us. Okay, they have to use a Bojuka Bog right now. So they had the land, but they might have been looking for a land that wasn't a bog, so they could use that later. So that is still pretty good for us. Definitely hold up Counterspell here. I'm going to counter probably anything they play, Augur Bolas or anything. That's definitely on the lower end of things, but Scry helps them find lands. It could help them get a ninja out, so I think it's probably a reasonable one to counter. Yep, missing a land drop now. Let's go for a Brainstorm, see if we find anything interesting. Just a lot of islands. Alright, I'm probably going to cycle a Lorien to get rid of those rather than Thought Scour, because I'd like the Thought Scour to find spells for the Terror. Now they have an Augur Bolas. I could Thought Scour to try to find like a 1-mana counter that's going to find this. No, that's not going to work anyway. No reason to do that, but they whiff on the Augur. That is really not where you want to be when you mulligan low. Cycle for an island, and I think we'll just Thought Scour now, just to see if I can get that Terror. We hit 2 spells, so yeah. 1-mana Terror. Ponder can hopefully find another Terror, or a Counterspell. Ooh, Delver with 2 islands. So I don't even flip the Delver. No, this is definitely not something we're keeping. And we find, much better, a Cryptic Serpent. They don't even have a swamp, so no snuff outs. They could cast it down, but they're in a pretty tough spot. And I get to Lorien next turn. They do find a 3rd land. We get a Delver, swing with the team. They're going to take it. Cast Lorien. It's much more mana efficient, and if they want to counterspell it, that's fine, but I don't want Delver to get spell stuttered, so alright, that's fine. They're attacking. Assume there will be a ninja. Mukutai, potentially. No, just ninja the Deep Hours. If they hit an untapped land, they can replay Augur to survive. But if they don't, yeah, we just win there. Alright, round 3 here, and we have the turn 1 Delver into Spell Pierce and Deprive to keep it alive on the play. I mean, I think we're just going for it. Obviously, if it gets bolted, it doesn't matter, but if we're against a bolt matchup anyway, it's not the best thing ever. If we're against green, flipping Delver can be really good. Deep Analysis. Yes. If it was almost anything else, I don't think I want a Thought Scour, but I really wouldn't mind that in my graveyard. So yeah, we're going to mill. Sleep and Deep Analysis. Fantastic hits. Draw another Spell Pierce. Okay, so that was great, obviously. If they're like elves, not having up Deprive means they could get a Priest of Titania, but luckily the Vapor Snag actually bails us out of that. So, and if they go like Winding Way, then we have Spell Pierce for it. So either way, pretty happy with that. And if we don't draw a land, assuming I want to tap out, I could Deep Analysis for 2 cards. Oh, Gruul. Okay, Arbor Elf. So they just drew Arbor Elf. I assume it's Gruul monsters. I mean, I think we just Vapor Snag this so that they can't ramp. This also gives us more permission to tap out for the Deep Analysis this turn. They're thinking about something. It might just be a cycle of a Genersent, although they didn't do that last turn. Or maybe they have like a Lightning Bolt or something that they are thinking about using, but they don't usually play Lightning Bolt, so I'm not going to play around that. But if they do have it, then, you know, they'll get me. Unless they use it right now, in which case I can Spell Pierce it, and I probably will. Vapor Snag the Elf. If I draw a island here, I probably would just slam a Terror, actually. Because obviously using Deep Analysis actually takes us further away from getting the Terror, but we have a lot of counter spells. I could just counter the Arbor Elf, but I think I want a Deep Analysis. Alright, not hitting a land drop is pretty bad. We have a very good start here, but if Spell Pierce is irrelevant, you know, it could be not great. Alright, well, I mean, we could just win with this Aberration, but not having Spell Pierce up when they are Ponza was pretty unfortunate. I think I could play a Delver, and if it flips, you know, maybe we just win that way. But they could just Writhing Chrysalis, and that's pretty bad. I think we should just hold up Spell Pierce, because if they blow up our last land and then get a reach creature, we probably lose. Whereas here, since we didn't play a land, they might be tempted to blow it up with like another Thermokarst, and then we can Spell Pierce for good value. If I was expecting it to be Ponza, I would have probably just left up something before. See, I was hoping to Spell Pierce some of these, but now that's not very good. And then they have the Chrysalis, of course. Well, if we draw lands, I think we'll have a fine time here, but if we don't, we might just lose now. I could play Delver, but then if they do get another land destruction spell, we're just going to lose. I don't feel like this should be that bad of a matchup, especially with how rough their start was, but then I guess I shouldn't have Deep Analysis, but if I just wasn't expecting it to be Ponza. I guess we're going to play a Delver and hope we don't get our land blown up. A Utopia Sprawl, another Chrysalis, and Arbor Elf. Okay. And they attack with the Chris. I gotta take it, but they can make it like 6 if they want. And it looks like they do. Well, 5. We already used a Vapor Snag. Ugh. Ponder. I mean, we get to flip Delver, and Ponder maybe finds us a land. Yup. There's an island. I'm gonna have to chump with a Delver, so I guess I'll throw that out there. Spell Pierce probably doesn't matter anymore. I mean, I think we've lost, but pretty unfortunate. Annoyed Altasaur. Hits a boarding party, of course. Alright. They got us. Ponza. If we just had our land drops, I think we would have been fine. Gutshot can be decent for the Arbor Elf, but that's it. I don't think it's better than anything else in our deck. But we'll just try to keep a more land dense hand, I suppose. Yeah, this one's fine. We have the turn 1 Arbor Elf and everything, but then everything else just went to crap. Delver, they have Arbor Elf. Tolarian Terror. Kind of want to shuffle that away with the Lorien, but I think I'd rather hold up Counterspell. I will trade here if they want to. Do I counter a Wild Growth so they can't play a 4-drop? It's not a Sprawl, so it's not gaining them red. I kind of think I should, now they have the Sprawl. I feel like reducing their mana is good, but maybe that was a waste. Island, no, I won't reveal an island. I'll shuffle Lorien. We draw another Delver. Play Delver. They have Boarding Party into Arbor Elf. I'm gonna cycle Lorien now because worst case scenario I can still play a Serpent next turn. Although ideally we get like a Ponder or something. Brainstorm. Mental Note, alright. It's pretty good. Mental Note hits 2 Ponders, so actually I can now Terror and hold up Deprive, or I could Cryptic Serpent and Terror. Probably want to hold up the Counterspell though. And I have him on a 3-turn clock in the air, so if I just counter any reach creatures, we should be good, and I'll trade with the Boarding Party. Terror is not the game plan here. Acid Moss. Should I counter that? I don't really care about the land destruction or the ramp that much, but obviously I wouldn't be able to deprive something else if they do it post-combat, which would only be for 4 mana. It could be a Chrysalis though, but I can't stop that. So yeah, I guess we deprive. Funnily enough, if they cascaded into this, I could counter the Cascade creature and then bounce the land they're targeting with deprive. It's actually kind of some cool tech. Attack with the Boarding Party. I will block. Okay, they didn't have anything else for 4 mana. It's really good for us. And Counterspell is fantastic. So I have a Serpent. If I knew I was drawing a Counterspell, I wouldn't have hesitated on the Deprive. Well, I still guess I could have hesitated because they could have done a Chrysalis or whatever, but no, it was good. They must have just drawn this because otherwise they could have done it before. As long as they don't have another reach creature or removal, we can just kill them with Aberrations. Although I guess that leaves them with 6 mana, so they could have a Boarding Party into something, but alright, we got that one. Let's try again. I guess there's a world where Envelop would be better than Spell Pierce because it hits all of their land destruction spells, but Spell Pierce can hit an enchantment, which is relevant. I don't know. Obviously can't keep this. This one's not very good. I mean, we have Vapor Snag, Counterspell, Delver. I guess we have some interaction. We'll keep it, but no mana selection or anything. I think I must once again Vapor Snag the Arbor Elf. Otherwise we could get land destroyed or something. They just replay the Arbor Elf and a Wild Growth. We get a Counterspell, which we will hold up. No red mana at the moment, but they do have 5. But we can counter. Yeah, there's red, so they could Boarding Party. Or just Acid Moss. We will counter. Untap another Arbor Elf. Island. Play a Delver. Hold up Counterspell. They have a Sprawl. That's what, 10 mana? Quite a bit. Altasaur into Chrysalis. I mean, Altasaur's bigger, so we're going to counter that. They both have reach, otherwise maybe we'd do the Chrysalis, but Altasaur can trade with the Terror, whereas the Chrysalis can't unless they get another Chrysalis. Attack with the Arbor Elf. Delver hits a Cryptic Serpent. I guess if I draw that and then cycle Lorien, I can play Serpent and then I can play Terror, and they're out of cards mostly, so I think we'll keep it, because I could cycle it away or shuffle it away. The ward is pretty irrelevant in this matchup, so I might as well just play the bigger creature, I think. Play a Forest and something else big coming down. Generous Ent. Okay, not the worst. Nyxborn Hydra would have been worse. Boarding Party would have probably been worse. So don't mind that too much. Delver flips on a Vapor Snag. Although, if I Vapor Snag like the Ent, they can just chump block the Serpent. Still can't attack with the Aberration. So I don't really have much to snag at the moment, but it'll be good later probably. Play Terror, and we're going to have to be in a bit of a standoff. They just get a Forest. Attack with the Generous Ent. That seems medium for them, because now I can attack with these. I mean, I could just take 5 and then I get to attack with both of these. I could obviously like trade one off, but I kind of think with the Vapor Snag and such, fine to just take that for now. Spell Pierce would definitely be better as an Envelop now. I don't want to Vapor Snag the Chrysalis to get in with the Aberration, at least not yet, because then they just get more spawn, which is extra blocking power. They're going to block them both. A couple counters on the Chrysalis. Sack the food token. I mean, if they go on the offensive with the Chrysalis now, maybe this is bad, because, like, especially if they draw, like, a boarding party. But it's a forest. That's good for us. I mean, we take 9, and they still have chump blockers here. I mean, I'm not going to Vapor Snag anything now, and I don't think I'm going to chump block, so I guess maybe next turn I should leave something back. But I guess this didn't work out quite as I was hoping. Sleep of the Dead would be pretty good. Serpent is not bad. So Serpent... I guess I'm dead to an Ent, but this can block the Chrysalis now. I have the Vapor Snag. I guess I might as well just leave the Aberration back, even though it can attack this turn, but I think I'd want to double block the Generous Ent if they come in. And they go to 1. I don't know. This is tough. I mean, if they throw away the Chrysalis, I'd probably just eat that with the Serpent and then snag the Generous Ent and they get their trigger and stuff. Arbor Elf is fine. Huh. Like, swinging like this. I mean, I guess I get to eat Arbor Elf and Chrysalis. I do have to Vapor Snag back the Generous Ent, which gives them the blocker and gains them some more life, but I get to eat 2 guys and I still have all 4 of my creatures, so if I get like a Sleep of the Dead, I probably just win. They know I have the Vapor Snag because I revealed it with the Aberration, so I'm not sure this is a great attack from them. Like, if they only attacked with the Ent, I could have double blocked, so they could have attacked with the Chrysalis to make sure that didn't happen, but then throwing away the Arbor Elf too wasn't super necessary. But they're at a virtual 13. If I get Sleep of the Dead, I tap, I can definitely win. But if I don't get sleep, obviously it's not quite that simple, because they could block here, block, take basically nothing, and I die. It's got reach. Yeah, I can't do anything, unfortunately, but we do have Counterspell. I still think that was pretty good for us, getting rid of the Chrysalis, which could have been problematic if they got another one later. They're going to crack their food. There's not really any world where the Spell Pierce does anything, so Repurposer, I don't think that's something to counter. It's just a 3/3. It's annoying that it makes 2 blockers, but I can't stop the second blocker anyway, and I much rather save the counterspell for something scarier. Ponder is good. Island, Lorien, Mental Note. So I would love to play a Lorien at some point, but I don't really want to tap out of this counterspell. I think I do want to hit land drops, honestly, just so that I have enough for like Sleep of the Dead if I get there. I think I'm just gonna keep it, play the island, and pass. I mean, they could definitely, if they start drawing a bunch of Cascade creatures, we're gonna fall behind, but we're hoping they keep drawing poorly like this. Maybe I do just cast Lorien. I mean, if they get like a Hydra, obviously I'll lose immediately on the spot. Yeah, I think we're gonna chance it. If they don't get a Hydra specifically, then I think we'll be able to survive probably. Even, I mean, maybe if they get Altasaur into Boarding Party into like Avenging Hunter, we'll be in a bad spot too, but there's the Altasaur into Sprawl. Okay. I would have preferred to counterspell the Altasaur, but actually this is not the worst thing that could have happened, because now we got like Brainstorm, Mental Note, which is really good to get rid of Spell Pierce, turn that into something relevant. And if I find a Sleep of the Dead where I can like tap both the reach creatures, I can start getting with Aberration, then I tap 2 more creatures and I can start getting in with everything. We're not going to tap out again. In fact, I'll probably try to leave up both counter spells if I can for Cascade shenanigans, but we'll see. Deprive is good. I'm going to Brainstorm because I would like to hit a land. No land, but we can put back Mental Note, Spell Pierce, and then I'll play Delver, which is going to flip off of one of them. I guess I'm just holding up 1 counter spell then. Probably should have just played the Serpent if I was doing it this way, but this way I can definitively flip the Delver. Avenging Hunter. See, we're definitely going to counter that. We'll just use the regular counter spell. Make sure the Delver flips. I probably should have put it the other way because I might have wanted to just draw the Mental Note, but I definitely don't want to draw the Spell Pierce. Brainstorm. We get our island. Let's Brainstorm. Put back Island, Ponder, play a Serpent, hold up a counterspell. We're building a critical mass of creatures. Thermokarst. I will just counterspell that. Actually, I don't know if I care. I have enough lands. I could Ponder to another. I think that's fine. Obviously, I am trying to develop lands, and we have 2 counterspells, but it is limited number, especially if I have to use multiple on the same turn for like Cascade target, that I think we're fine with this. I also know I'm getting a Ponder, which can find an island underneath it. Yeah, and we just have Terror. I think I take Terror first, actually. Delver, Island, Terror. So I'll just play 2 Terrors. Now, if next turn I attacked, they have 6 blockers, I have 8, so I'm still not getting in for lethal. Maybe I should have just shuffled, because I really do need like a Sleep of the Dead or something to break through, but more creatures just feels like it's gonna help us not die. If they get a Forest, that's pretty good. Then we get an island, because I figured if I got the Delver, it didn't really matter. And I can't just attack with everything, because it wouldn't kill them, and then they could kill us back, because they could keep the Generosent alive. I could do like a half attack, but then I'm throwing away some Serpents to the Generosent. That's not very good either. They play a Mountain. Just got to be patient. I feel like there's very little chance we lose this unless I just rush into something that I should not. They're thinking about attacking, I guess, but there's not really a way they can attack that is beneficial in any way. I mean, they could throw away an Altasor to trade with, like, a Terror of ours, but I'm pretty happy with that. They have a Chrysalis. I think Chris is something worth countering because it's reach, and our main goal is to tap the Reachers and then get in with the Aberrations. Deep Analysis. Fantastic. Flips. That's a pretty good draw. Draws 2. Island. 4th Delver on the field. I probably will flash that back next turn, going to 2 life. Opponent says that I've used all 4 counters, so they just need to top deck some creatures. They don't know about the Deprive, though. I mean, I think I used one previously in a game, but it's okay. Delver hits Mental Note. Let's Mental Note. Hits Brainstorm and my other Deprive. I'm going to Deep Analysis to draw 2. We go to 2. We get a Mental Note. Spell Pierce. Still no Sleep of the Dead. There's no world where I boarded either of them out, so they're both still in here. And I have, 10 creatures, but they have 8 blockers, so the math is the same. Alright. Well, they've played every land they've drawn immediately, and they're not playing it here, so maybe they realize they should sandbag, or maybe they drew something they don't want to cast yet, which is interesting. That's an island. Gosh. Like, a Sleep of the Dead just wins us the game. Not on the spot, because we can only hit for 12 in the air, but still pretty immediately. Boarding Party into a Fiery Cannonade. Do they even want to cast that? They get rid of all of our Aberrations, but they lose 2 Arbor Elves, 3 Spawn. Yeah, that's not worth it. I don't think I want to counter this. It's just a 6/3 that I can trade an Aberration for. Or maybe a Serpent, actually. I'd rather counter the Reachers or something else. There's a Tolarian Terror. What a game we have here. Play an island, pass the turn. I mean, I know we have an out. Surely if they just draw a bunch of creatures in a row, they're going to win. But, like, I don't think I care about an Acid Moss. But in general, I'm not sure exactly what they're looking for. A Hydra would be pretty good. In fact, Hydra would be lethal, like, if we didn't have a Deprive. I guess that's their main out. Find me a Sleep of the Dead island. We have 11 creatures, but they've also gained another, so they're at 9, so we're at the same, getting in for 2, with 2 creatures, which is just not lethal. So it would be 2 Aberrations. Chrysalis. I think I let this go. If I get a Sleep of the Dead, I can tap all 3 Reachers, and I really need to not die to a Nyxborn Hydra. And they still only have 5 creatures with lethal damage on us. Thought Scour. Obviously, we mill out first, but, like, I know I have Sleep of the Dead in here. Thought Scour. Let's try to find it. We found one. All right. Sleep of the Dead. Tap down. Generosent. Get rid of Island. Sleep of the Dead. Tap down. Annoyed Altasor. Now, I could use it once more, but we don't have lethal. Let's do our math. 1, 2, 3. I mean, they have a million blockers on the ground, so there's no way I can get it with those, which means I'm only hitting for 12 in the air. So there's no reason to do that. But Deprive would, if I tap out a Deprive, I could just die. So I think I should just attack with the Aberrations. We do throw 1 away to the Crisp, but they take 9, and then I can kill them next turn. I could also just wait and attack with them next turn after I tap the Crisp, but then I'm not dealing them lethal next turn, and that just seems worse. I guess their other card in hand could be another Fiery Cannonade. So if they realize that our main win con is trying to go for the flyers, they could just kill them all. But then they lose so many blockers that our win con can just be our snakes. So we only need 1 more Cryptic Serpent on the field, and we'd have our whole team, every single creature in our deck. And also, I left the Chrysalis because this way they have to sack at least 1 spawn, which is 1 fewer blocker, if they want to keep it alive, which they obviously do. All right, they go to 4, and we should have them next turn, assuming we don't lose. Avenging Hunter. I don't think I care about that. They get the initiative, but I still just have lethal on them. So in case the last card they're sandbagging is a Fiery Cannonade or some other thing that could keep them alive, I don't think I want to counter the Avenging Hunter. You get a Forest, no attacks, Lorien Revealed. Let's just tap their Chrysalis, exiling 3 cards, then attack with the Aberrations. Sack a spawn, sack another spawn. This makes me think it is a Fiery Cannonade. It's the only thing that makes sense for them to, like, hold, and if they're sacking all their spawn before they do this, that would make sense, but then the Deprive is going to get them. Boom, 5th counterspell, being super relevant. That was a long one, but pretty cool. Pretty interesting match. All right, we're playing against Barf. Last time we played against them, they were on Dimir Terror. But of course, they play a lot of fairies. I played against him like 3 times this week, so we'll see what he's on today. But hand is, good. Could just set stuff up. I'll certainly take another counter spell and a brainstorm. We'll put the mental note where I could draw it, or I could just mill it at some point if I wanted. Back to their fairy ways, which is going to mean this counterspell might not be very good. this turn because they might not cast anything if they just ninja, and then I'll need to find something, but that's okay. Swing for 1, nothing else. All right, I don't want to use any of these that just get spell stuttered, so let's not. They're Demir. Swing for 1, I'll take it. Now we'll go for Brainstorm. If they spell stutter, I can counterspell. They could then spell pierce, but all right. Deep Analysis and Mental Note. Then we won't use anything right there because, again, they could spell stutter it. We'll Mental Note in the upkeep here. Perfect. Drawing an island is exactly what we wanted. And we have 5 spells in our grave. So I can Thought Scour and then Terror for 1 with double counterspell next turn. That's pretty good. Swing with the Fairy Seer. Have a ninja this time. Let's Thought Scour in response. Not that we're probably going to have anything that matters here. 2 islands, that's fine. Another counter spell. So we get Terror, and I could even Delver if I want to tap out a double counter spell. Not sure I want to do that, though, because they could have Snuff Out on the end step, pay the ward, and then, you know, cast down or something. I don't know. I think double counterspell is good to hold up. Brainstorm in the end step. Just play an island. Fairy Seer. Countering this is a real possibility because then the spell stutter does not catch our 2-drops. I think we will for that reason, because this kind of preemptively counters their spell stutter on our counter spell. You know what I mean? Do I want to counter an Augur? Again, they can't spell stutter it. They could have a regular counter spell, but I think that's fine if they fully tap out. Then I get to Deep Analysis and Delver on our turn. I get a Lorien. I mean, that's pretty good. Terror. Okay, maybe I just want to play another Terror then. Let's Deep Analysis. We don't get an island. 4th counter spell already, though. Yeah, we're going to play a Terror and swing. I guess I could play double Delver. I'm pretty positive they have a spell stutter based on how they've played. They have a Lorien, so they only have 2 other cards. Double Delver allows them to, like, snuff out our terrors and get in with the ambusher. I don't think we need to do that. Brainstorm's fine. Augur. So they're going to find something off of the Augur for sure. If I counter this, they could have a snuff out for the terror. I think that's okay. They have a Dispel. Okay. Well, now they can't snuff out the terror, which is nice. Oh, they haven't played a land this turn, so I guess they could if they also have a land drop. Kind of assume they'll show us the same Lorien they already did, but it's possible they kept that in hand in case this did get countered and they didn't want to, wanted it to be in their hand. Okay, Bojuka Bog, not amazing, but we used up the Deep Analysis and we got both terrors on the field, so it's not the end of the world. See, as I have Delvers in hand, triple Delver. If I attack for 10, they get a free 3 life back. Plus, then I have really easy creatures to get past. So I think we're just attacking with 1 terror. I guess they could triple block. It's not terrible for me to trade. Yeah, they are gonna. I don't have the Vapor Snag. I could Thought Scour to maybe hit it, but then I'm not holding up Counterspell with triple Delver. I think it's fine. I'll trade this for Ambusher and an Augur, and then play triple Delver and hope to God they don't have Suffocating Fumes plus a Counterspell backup. Play an island, tap out for a Lorien. We're going to try to counter that. I'm still assuming they have a Spell Stutter from how they played before, but I'm not sure. All right, and we win the game. I mean, we drew every Counterspell in our deck. Well, we drew all 4 Counterspell, not Deprives, but that was very good. But yeah. So they are, looks like traditional Dimir because of the Augurs. Traditional Dimir fairies, so I'm not sure we care that much about the gut shots, just like before. Vapor Snag seems still decent. I think we just run it back. All right, they're on the play. We have Spell Pierce, Counterspell, Delver, Ponder. This hand looks great. Starting with the Fairy Seer. I think we probably just start with Delver then. I'm not going to Spell Pierce anything super relevant here, and I don't want this to get Spell Stuttered. If they don't have like a Cast Down or Snuff Out, maybe it flips and does some damage. Fairy Seer. Coming in, they have a Moon Circuit Hacker. Sack the landscape. This could just find a swamp and then they could snuff out the Delver. That's exactly what's happening. That would have been good to have a Spell Pierce for, but I obviously wouldn't have had the Delver if I did that. So I'm probably going to Delver and then hold up Spell Pierce this time. Problem is the Hacker I don't think I want to trade with, which means it's going to connect. They have a Fairy Seer in hand. How bad is it if I do trade? I mean, it's going to hit me not just this turn, it's probably going to hit me the next like 3 turns if I don't trade with it. Because I don't have any terrors, I don't have a real other game plan. I think I might want to trade actually. I don't love it, but like, no guarantee the Delver flips. Even if it does, trading 3 for 2 and them getting a loot is not really great for us. Cycle a Lorien. I maybe should have Thought Scoured in response in case they left up their Spell Stutter, but they didn't. Although I might want to Thought Scour after a Ponder. Scry 1 to the top. Yeah, we'll keep this for now. Another island. Ponder. Yeah, I definitely want to mill the Sleep. And the Lorien, I guess. Or the Mental Note. It's going to be 5. Yeah, let's keep the Lorien. And I mean, I want a Thought Scour, but then I'm not holding up Counterspell, which if they slam like a Monarch is really bad. But if they have Spell Stutter mana for the Thought Scour, I probably can't afford to do that until our upkeep. Maybe I will just draw the Mental Note. That's fine too. If they get another Ninja, I'm in a bad spot because I have no ways to block it. Really need to find a Terror. Augur of Bolas after the Brainstorm. They haven't played a land, so they're probably going to Bojuka Bog us after this. I think I gotta keep their value down though. Yep, there's the Bog, which means I need to restart filling the graveyard, so I think I do want to draw this Mental Note, then just send it off, mill Asleep and Alorian. Okay. Then I'm going to Thought Scour. If we're lucky, we get 2 spells and then draw a Terror. Now we milled the Terror, Mental Note here. I'm going to Mental Note to mill another Terror. Well, that was bad, but that's just how the deck works sometimes. I can hold up Spell Pierce. The fact that we tapped below 2 means they could slam a Thorn and we're in a really bad spot. If they do, I guess I get to Lorien. I'm not sure what I'm going to Spell Pierce here. So I kind of want to Brainstorm so that it doesn't get Spell Stuttered. Yeah, let's just do that. We're tapping out and it's not great, but Serpent is okay. Put these 2 back, I guess. Yeah, Mystic, almost as bad, if not just as bad as the Thorn that I was anticipating. I could just play a Cryptic Serpent, or I could just play a Lorien. One Cryptic Serpent doesn't do us that much good. If it gets killed, especially. I don't know. I mean, we're in a bad spot, but I think I need a Lorien revealed. Yeah, like with a Terror here, assuming they don't do anything terrible, although just a bunch of cantrips is pretty bad, I can maybe... I really need more counterspells, because if I get actual counterspells, landing Terror and Serpent with Spell Pierce and like a counterspell backup is pretty decent. Brainstorm, they swing for 2. They have a Ninja. But they miss their land drop. That is something. And another Serpent. Okay, well, we have 1 Spell Pierce and they've missed their land drop. So I'm playing Terror and 2 Serpents and holding up a Spell Pierce. This could go pretty well. Of course, they could just have a bunch of kill spells, which you can't do much about. Start with a Brainstorm. But this was the goal after the Lorien, was like, 1 Serpent does do a lot here, but if I could just overwhelm them with a bunch of snakes, maybe we can get there. We'll see. If do find a land, swing with a bird. We'll see if they want to ninja it. No, just a damage. Snuff out a Serpent. Can't Spell Pierce. Cast down another. Can't Spell Pierce. Ugh. They were supposed to not have all the kill spells. Delver. Now I could attack. They chump. That's no good. They also get in with a ninja. Sleep of the Dead is irrelevant. I guess we have to try to do the exact same thing again with a Lorien revealed. Cycle this Lorien for an island. And I could hold up a Spell Pierce, but it doesn't really do that much. I think I Delver. Right. I was specifically not casting things because I knew there was probably a Spell Stutter. I was not casting 1-drops, that is. And then I just did it anyway. Even if we kill the not kill the Mystic. They have a Servant's Camp. Alright, they've got us. That's an interesting include. Obviously taps things so ninjas can get through. Yeah, we're just sending it back. I think we put up a good fight. Hopefully we have a more proactive plan here. Ponder, Delver. I mean, Delver's good for proactivity. Spell Pierce is okay, although it's not the best thing ever against Spell Stutters we've seen. And then the Terrors are just stranded unless we find the perfect stuff off Ponder. I don't think I can keep this one. This one is almost as bad in a different way. I have the lands, but I just don't have the spells. Alright, this one is an okay medium, but I feel like I have to get rid of a Terror and a Spell Pierce. I'm just gonna Mental Note so it doesn't get countered or anything, and we can hopefully fill the graveyard. They have a Fairy Seer. We have a Lorien. They might Augur that I'd want to counterspell, but I think I just want this to not get Spell Pierced, so let's again go with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does not a Terror next turn with counterspell backup, unfortunately. Let's Brainstorm. Put back these 2. They're gonna Brainstorm right away. They hit Aquifer and swing. I have to shuffle here because I don't want to draw those cards right now. Unfortunately, I much would prefer to mill them, but Delver. So I could just Terror and Delver. Puts pressure on them immediately. If they have the Snuff out for the Terror, then if I can't find another Terror, I'm not in a great spot. If they don't have it, I think we're in a very good spot. I could wait 1 turn and play it next turn with the counterspell backup, but I kind of feel like that puts us behind. I think I just need to Terror, Delver, and hope for the best. I mean, they could double Snuff out and we'd be just devastated, but well, that's not a good sign. Right away on the Delver, I feel like that means they have like Extract Confession or something. Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, if we draw an island, and I can ponder into like a Terror maybe, but Deep Analysis, Delver, Mental Note. Okay, Deep Analysis, Mental Note, Delver. Again, we're not going to have Counterspell up, but I can double Delver that are going to flip. That's another decent way to put up a clock. If I get Suffocating Fumes, man, it's going to be pretty unfortunate, but there's a Brainstorm. I don't feel like that's something they would keep in post-sideboard, even if they had it, because usually being able to catch 2 Delvers is almost impossible, but whatever. But if I flip off Mental Note, then I get to Mental Note away the Deep Analysis, and I'm holding up Counterspell. If we get to that point with double Delvers flipped, I think we're pretty good. In a pretty good spot. They have a Snuff out for a Delver, and then a Relic that they pop right away. Not great, but not the worst. We do get to keep a Delver, which flips on a Mental Note. I still get to mill my Deep Analysis. They're stopping us in our upkeep. Do they have a Surveillance Cam? Huh. Taps the Aberration, so they, gain 3 life, but then they're going to be able to gain another 3 life when they crack it, and draw 2 cards. This is a really annoying 1-drop. I never would have thought I would want to counter this, but I think I should, because I want to keep attacking them, and this stalls our aggression, draws them cards. I'm going to Mental Note now, so it doesn't get Spell Stutter. Deep Analysis in the yard, we get another Thought Scour. And I'm going to attack. Obviously, this could let them get a Ninja, but they didn't have it previously, and we're the beatdown right now. So they are going straight to combat, and they find the Ninja. And I wouldn't have thought about Cam in Ninjas. Obviously, it looks pretty interesting, though. Fairy Seer, try one at the top. Island, gonna Deep Analysis. They have a counter spell. We're gonna Thought Scour. If I hit 2 spells and then draw Terror, that'd be pretty good. Well, we hit 2 spells. I don't feel like... they have one on the top that they kept. I don't feel like I can afford to hit 3 for 3. We're 1 turn ahead, but they get to draw a card every turn. Whatever they kept probably is like a removal spell or a thorn or something really bad, but something really bad, yep. I don't think I can afford to cycle my Lorien. I think I need to keep it in case we draw an island, and then I can draw 3. Although they're going to attack with a Ninja here, and I'm going to have to trade. And then we're going to die to Fairy Seers. I've only used 1 Serpent so far. Yeah, we're going to try to find some more, I guess. We got to block. If I wasn't going to block, I should have attacked. And I don't think it was right to attack, so I guess I have a counter spell. Oh my gosh, Magic's gotten so hard recently. And they have the Ninja. Come on, dude. It's another Ninja the Deep Hours. Fairy Seer. I guess I'm countering that. And they have another Bajuka Bog. I guess it was a Relic last time. Well, whatever. Just refilled that graveyard. We're taking 3. They have a Thorn of the Black Rose. Alright, we've lost. Ugh, so close. Alright, last round here. See if we can get the 4-1. 4-1 is nothing to scoff at. It's a great record. But I've gotten 4-1 in the last 7 leagues that I've played in across many different decks. And I keep not getting the trophy, and it's frustrating me. Alright, I wouldn't mind a counterspell here. Maybe the Cryptic Serpent. Don't need the island. But I think we'll keep, and then probably just shuffle away with a Lorien. Grab the prize Snacker. Well, what are you going to do? This is what our Spell Pierce is supposed to be for, but we didn't have that. Leave up a counterspell when we're already taking 3 every single turn. This deck is kind of crazy, isn't it? Swing for 3. So I already know the top card of my deck is an island. Still feels like maybe I should Brainstorm and then Lorien. We'll go with the Lorien. If I Brainstorm and I find a Mental Note, then it's better. If I don't, then it's quite a bit worse. I guess there's not really a huge reason to Brainstorm here. Well, let's just use the mana. They're gonna Lava Dart us, sure. Spell Pierce is decent. 2 islands. We do get a Lorien to shuffle away if I want to, but actually now I want to hold up Spell Pierce and Counterspell. But we're just gonna be dead to this Snacker in 2 turns. Post-board, I'm sure this matchup is pretty reasonable, but right now it feels crazy if they get the Snacker on turn 2. They'll Highway Robbery, I'll counterspell it. I guess now they resolve a Gutter Snap and I can't do much about it, but there's a Faithless Looting. I'll Spell Pierce something they Madness off of it. One of the 2 Fiery Tempers, I suppose. They have a Mountain, a Fire Blast, and then another Fire Blast. Okay. 7 more counterspells to add to our already huge number of counterspells. Sleeps are gone. Delver's bad here. Vapor Snag is not amazing, but it is one of our only ways to deal with a Snacker once it's on board. Deep Analysis loses us life, so that seems worse. I guess we keep this. Our worst counterspell out of our 15 counterspells is the only one we have. Maybe not worth it, but Ponder. Another Deprive. Why not? I don't think I can afford 2 Deprives this early. Terror is something I want at some point. I think I want to shuffle this. Yeah, let's just shuffle. Maybe I should have just kept the Terror, but then I also have to keep another thing if I don't want to Thought Scour it right away, and I want to hold up Deprive. Faithless Looting, double Snacker in the yard. Okay, we get the Terror anyway. I have Deprive for their next draw too, but then if I don't have another one, gonna be cooked. Also, if they just Plot a highway robbery. I can't do much. Oh, they kept a one-lander with that? Well, that helps a little bit. Let's Thought Scour. Hits Island Cryptic Serpent, because we're super lucky. I was going to say, if we can get a fast terror to take advantage of this, maybe we can just kill him. But 1, 2, 3 spells in our graveyard, that might not happen. Alright, Ponders, fine. 4th spell, they're going to blast it. Sure, I'm not going to fight over that when I am probably going to lose if they resolve a grab the prize. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to cycle Lorien. That'll be 5. I can play a terror for 2. Okay, or I can mental note first. If I terror for 1 and they red blast it, I have to deprive, and then if they do get their grab the prize, like their land for a grab the prize for the snackers, I will probably lose again. So I think if they red blast, I probably just let it go. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't feel good, but they drew a second here. Epicure. We're going to let that go. And then a Relic. I mean, currently, if it pops, they get rid of all their stuff. It's not great. They can't pop it right now, I know, but I don't think I want to deprive that. We have so many counterspells. Can I please draw some Hydroblasts? Then I would have counterspelled this in a heartbeat if I had like 1 or 2 other counterspells in hand. Mental Note, 2 islands. Maybe I should save Mental Note for after the Relic gets popped, if it does. Envelop is good. Now I can counter a draw 2. Swing with the Epicure. Activate the Relic. That's not going to do anything anytime soon. Thought Scour. Yeah, we're just going to sandbag that. I mean, we have 2 counterspells. Vapor Snag's decent. You know, Blood Token, a Fiery Temper. Sure. Not going to do anything about that. If we just draw a couple more lands, then I can Lorien Revealed comfortably. For now, it's not very comfortable to do so, though. Kessig, Flame Breather. Probably worth countering. I don't know. We'll go for it. They are going to pop the Relic. Fair. I did just get my Terror, so I'm a little annoyed. But they do get rid of all their snackers, so can't be too upset. Thought Scour hits Island Envelop. Pass the turn. Envelop's still good, but obviously it's not as mandatory. I counter a draw 2 now. I still will, obviously. Highway Robbery. Swing for 1. Terror is a 5-drop. So is Lorien. Although I feel like Terror is actually not as good as resolving as Lorien at this point, so I'm gonna do the Terror, because if it does resolve, great, but I kind of assume they have a red blast. Yep. But now I'll envelop the Highway Robbery, and then we'll just die. They went with the grab the prize. I mean, I'll envelop that. They drew 4 red blasts, and I've drawn none. None of my blasts. Barely any of my counterspells of any variety. Oh my gosh. There's a Terror. We're gonna Lorien Revealed. Alright, there's some Hydros. Can't play a Terror. We're getting really close to dying, though. And they still have their Highway Robbery, which I feel obliged to counter. Flashback Faithful Sleuting. I feel like I should leave that one. If they double Fiery Temper off of it, it's pretty good, but single Fiery Temper. I will go to 4 from this Epicure, I guess. Should probably Vapor Snag something at some point, but if I do it now and then I just die to Fire Blast plus something, that's not very good. Lightning Bolts. So I counter this and then they Fire Blast us. I guess I'll go to 1. Terrors. Pretty late, but here they are. I mean, I'm just dead to a Lava Dart. Highway Robbery. I mean, at this point, I also just feel obliged to not counter anything that doesn't actually kill me, because there's going to be so many things that do. But there's a Fiery Temper. I'm sure they'll have something else in response. Well, haven't played that matchup a ton, and man, it felt miserable. Although it would have felt a lot better if I had drawn so many counterspells game 2. Literally 15. 1/4 of my deck was counterspells, because main deck we're running 8, and I brought in 7 more, and I only saw 1 for the first, 7 turns of the game. In any case, we started off extremely strong with a 3-0, and I feel like a very good match against Dimir Fairies. Of course, Barf is just an incredible player, so it's hard to beat him. And then we went up against Mono Red Madness, which, is going to high roll some people sometimes. There were definitely a couple times where bouncing a land with Deprive is a little awkward, especially when you're looking in the late-ish game to cast a Lorien Revealed. But there were also several matches where just having 5th and 6th counterspells were absolutely incredible. Vapor Snag felt really, really good. Never once was I wishing that this card cost 3 mana and was a sorcery, so can't say I'm too upset about that choice. And the Delvers felt decent. Obviously, some matches they're not amazing, but they are definitely sometimes okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to my supporters, including my $10 and up monthly supporters like Howard Granger, JD MPX, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, Sty, Benedict, and DJ Vinyl. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.